Hey everybody, welcome back to Dental Unfiltered. I'm Matt Brown. I'm here with the amazing Kelley. Me and Kara travel the country almost together. We see each other pretty frequently. A few listeners that don't know, the speakers and vendors and sponsors and people that work at these events are basically a traveling circus. And we see each other all the time. I probably have dinner with some of these people more than I do my friends. Actually, that is true. I do actually. Or lunch, or I hang out and talk to them in person more than most of my friends. And I see Kara on the regular. And Kara is definitely the expert in the space on HR compliance. Like, I think there's nobody I have seen on stage speak more about this than you. Like, zero. Like, I cannot name one other HR compliance person that is on stage. I don't know anyone but you, and I'm at all the events. So you're probably it. As far as being number one, in my opinion. I think you're the one I see the most. And I mean, like, I think we're on the same stages pretty frequently, and we're on the more important stages. So arrogantly for you, I would say that you're the highest profile one that I know, because I only know one, and it's you. So, guys, we have a really good topic today. I think sometimes in practices we like willy nilly do things, and we don't understand that down the road possible time bombs or nuclear bombs that we just set off that could explode at any point in time, when all of a sudden this employee is disgruntled about something else, and they start looking through stuff and like, well, I have this on them, I have that. The employee that is your best friend today, who gets you a Christmas card, could be the one that wants to harm you financially in a year from now, because you make one off color subject the day they're having a bad day, or their whole life goes to crap and their favorite dog dies and their husband walks out, and all of a sudden you make a bad comment, you're the target because they can't do anything about anything else. So our title today is Like, Share, Lawsuit. And from my point of view, the subject we're going to talk about as a marketer is they take pictures of patients and put them on the internet and don't get model releases and stuff. But Kara's point of view is an employee HR point of view, which when we were talking the day meeting and talking about the subject, I never thought of. And when I said my version and then she said her version, I felt super stupid because I never thought about the employee side of this. So Kara, first tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and let's dig into Like, Share, Lawsuit. So you go ahead first.
Thank you. It's so much fun to be here. I love this podcast. You have some of the best people on here, and they tell the best stories, which is why really I'm excited to be here. Like you mentioned, I am an HR compliance expert. I have been working with dentists since 2012. Actually started working with dentists at a dental CPA firm back in 2012, and I was there for about 7.5 years, and then got tired of being mistaken for an accountant, so decided to really just lean into the HR side of things and go and start my own company, which is Clinical HR. It's not all compliance, but there is a lot of it. Compliance, culture, things that we do with the team, things that we say to the teams, things that we say online, which is where Like, Share, Lawsuit comes from. That's actually one of the keynotes or study club type topics that I will talk about, because there's a lot of misinformation that does get shared, and there's a lot of things that get said online that could result in the employee potentially taking legal action, or just misinformation that you hear where you go and implement that in your practice and you end up audited, or you end up with some other compliance type issue from a regulatory body. So Like, Share, Lawsuit is really about the things that we're doing on social media and why we should not be crowdsourcing our HR advice.
Yeah, it's funny. There's like things in the practice we should outsource. There's things we should DIY, and there's things we shouldn't, right? And I think with you, there's like, it's not outsourcing, it's bringing in an expert to guide you and be honestly a team member. Where on other sides, I think where the big mistake is made with HR compliance is it's like a check the box thing. Like, oh, I bought chairs, check the box. Oh, I hired a hygienist, check the box. Oh, I got phones, check the box. Oh, I have an employee manual. It sits on the shelf. No one's ever seen it. I don't show it to new hires. I don't have an onboarding process, but I'm going to check that box too, right?
Yeah, and y'all see that on the marketing side. Y'all see practices that say, "Oh, I hired a company that pushes out some social media stuff for me. Check the box," instead of the things they need to bring in internal, which is, pictures and videos and things of their team actually being their team and showing their authentic self. Y'all can help them get that out there, but a lot of them do. They go to whatever company and check the box with all of the generic posts and ads and things that were written by ChatGPT, right?
I want to set the stage for the docs listening. So doc, you're listening. You're in your practice this week, and you have your social media, And maybe you're one of the very rare dentists that are proactive on your social media. So first, good job, pat on the back. But not just being proactive, we have to have some rules and some precautionary guidance to make sure we're there. So when you're in the practice and you're like, oh, my assistant did a good job today, or we're going to do this funny TikTok challenge today where we all sing down the hall, or we do one of those crazy challenges that's trending right now. Do we have everything in place to protect ourselves? So Kara, like, what is the foundational first thing the doc should be thinking about in this scenario? Like, what is the first thing they should be like, man, I didn't think about that? Or what would be the first part of advice you would give that doc?
If we're talking about team members and trying to create videos and get ourselves out there.
Yeah, like, share a lawsuit. Let's do it.
I mean, media release would be one of my first things. Making sure you actually have their permission to use their image, video, audio in perpetuity on XYZ channels. In perpetuity. Because what happens when they leave and they come back and they say, hey,
I want to take
my picture's on your website. Can I take it down? Yeah.
Oh, that's smart. That this doesn't exist, that this exists after termination.
Yeah. And on which channels, how can you use that? Can you run it through AI and alter their image? Because that's another thing I've seen lately too. I've actually seen that on the speaker side. Amy Wood is a HIPAA and cybersecurity compliance expert, and she's a great friend of mine. We have our Compliant AF podcast, and she was sharing that there's a conference she's going to go speak for later this year that they sent some promo materials for her to look at, and they had taken her picture, and I guess a VA or whoever it was putting this together had run it through Canva generator AI something or other, and the picture that she sent was not the picture that showed up, and it was showing her where she had sent a picture of her like in a higher collar dress. It was a very low cut dress. And I don't think they intentionally did that, but that's what the AI did with her picture. And she's like, I can't, no. So if you're going to be altering your team members' images, that's also something I think that needs to be covered nowadays in those agreements, that if you are planning on, making the cutesy little cartoons and things like that, you're using their likeness, can you do that?
So this should be a living document.
Yeah. Or at the very least revisited occasionally, not just, signed at new hire orientation and then never touched again.
No, here's a question. When it's signed at new hire orientation, it's in that pile of things being signed. Should we say this is what this is and at least give broad strokes verbally?
For the marketing, for the media release?
Yeah, the media release. So if you have a model release and you're going through like, this is your employment contract, this is, your policy for vacation time, this is our model release, we do shoot media here, it is an important part of the practice. Should you say verbally, or does it matter what you say when they sign it?
I like to be as transparent as possible. I mean, I think communication solves a lot of problems, not just in dentistry, but everywhere. I think that's something actually, honestly, that needs to be covered at the interview process. That, hey, we're a super social team here. We do a lot of videos. Go check out our Instagram. You'll see what we do. And we're hoping to find a team member that wants to join us in that really thinks that's going to be exciting and fun and loves that aspect of what we do here. And so that person shouldn't have a problem with it, but yes, you should have them sign that and say, this is what this is. I mean, it's a media release. They should know what they're signing, right? If you ever want it to hold up somewhere, you don't want to have them sign on the line like the kids do in middle school when they've got a bad test grade and the parent has to sign it and they like slip it under another document. Yeah, we don't want to do that. They should know what it is. I would say the other thing about that, though, is that you do need to give them a reason to say no, that it needs to be okay in some limited circumstances for them to say no. And some of the reasons I would say would be domestic violence situations, or a situation where maybe they've had a stalker in the past and they don't want their image online.
Oh, that's real.
Yeah, it is. It is. They need to be able to say no for those reasons. And that doesn't mean they can't participate in the creation of media. You've seen the ones where the videos where they're like holding signs and it says something and they drop the sign. Maybe they're the person that holds the sign and like their face is not on there. Maybe they're the person that holds the camera and they're not in front of it. There's other ways they can participate.
Oh, there's ways they can participate, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe there's somebody who dresses up in a fun costume with a mask, like whatever. But give them an out. Don't just say we absolutely 100% require our team member to be on social with us all the time, because there are some people who aren't, it's not about being shy or I don't want to be on camera or I didn't do my makeup today. It's I really don't want my image online because it's going to end up in court documents or I've got a stalker or whatever.
So two things come to mind as you say that. One is if this is culture in the practice. I mean, so let's remove the marketing side of it. It's fun. Right? Like it's fun. Like in today's world, shooting TikTok videos is recreational, right? Like, so it's fun. So we're really having a document about this is the fun and culture in our practice. Let's remove the marketing part of it. And we would like you to be part of that. And this is the kind of the gateway to be the forefront of it. Now, if you don't, there's behind the scenes ways you can be part of it and still have fun. If you think about it, if I'm the person that doesn't want to be in it, I can be behind the camera and say, so and so, jump higher. And you come out 4 seconds later, and you can kind of be the director and still have fun and high five everybody. The other two things that come to mind, there's actually a couple. One is this should probably be talked about during the interview process.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Have it be something that's transparent. Like, this is our culture. This is what we do here. You want to know what it's like to work here? Go check out our Instagram or TikTok.
Oh, that's a good one too. If you want to see, so we're doing so there's two levels. There's actually a whole nother level to this. So if you're interviewing and you're like, hey, if you want to see what the culture of this practice is really like, go to our Instagram. Look how much fun we have. And if I was interviewing, it's like, or put it in the job post. If I was a dental assistant interviewing, right, I wouldn't want to work at a stuffy practice. I'd want to work in a fun environment, especially if I was younger, let's say 30s. And, like I would want to, and being able to see that would be like, man, these people look like they have fun. That's pretty cool. Now, the other one I thought about, which is something probably you didn't think about, is you mentioned the stalkers. Well, for me, I have an uncle that has a practice in the Virginia area, and he has a lot of Virginia Beach special operations personnel whose families end up getting jobs working for him. Wife's a hygienist, wife's a dental assistant. They moved back into the area. She's associated to him. Foreign intelligence could figure out where he is based on where she is and facial recognition. So for her to protect her husband, she might not want to be in it at all.
Or even law enforcement or local government. I know plenty of people who are in positions where they're not allowed to have social media, and it's for that reason. And they're the same people who, if you try to Google map their address, it's going to be blurred because they have that special protection from hopefully being like found. So there could be legitimate reasons from that perspective as well. But it's something that I would be transparent about. It's actually something that I put in my job post, that they're responsible for engaging in marketing activities and participate in marketing activities. And so again, that doesn't have to be them on camera. But if you're trying to say this is the culture here, this is the team that we have, everybody should have that as part of their job description. That I know that's not something hygienists go to school for, but on our job description for our practice, we do social here.
Right now hygienists are like gold. I mean, they have been ever since COVID, right? So is it good to have it as a requirement, or have it in there like, this is something we participate in? It's not a requirement, but culturally, this is something that we do. Should you have it worded like that so you still get good applicants?
You can say it's a requirement to participate in marketing activities. So again, that doesn't mean they have to be in front of the camera, but required to participate in marketing activities. And that could be, like I said, a host of different reasons. It could even come down to like brainstorming. You want someone to participate in social media and they don't want to be on camera? Cool. Have them go and look at other social media, other reels, do a little research on some things y'all could be doing, and be like the coordinator for it. Have them be the person that posts. Like, that could be a broad range of things. But if you have that as part of the requirement for the position, that they participate in marketing activities, then that's something that you can hold them accountable for.
I think it's something that no one's thinking about for sure. And honestly, as a marketer, I was kind of embarrassed. I never thought about this. When you said it, I was like, wow, 5 years, hundreds of practices. I've always thought about a model release for patients. I have never thought about a model release for employees. Now, here's the next thing. They have to be two different documents.
Oh yeah, this is I wouldn't even call it a model release. This is a media release, because it also could potentially be their video. It could be their, like I said, AI generated image that uses their likeness. It could be them doing a voiceover, like whatever. It's various things. It needs to be a media release because it's different formats and whatnot, not just model.
Do you have any stories where this became a real world problem?
Yes, actually, I recently have had a practice, probably in the last year or so. We were actually talking about something completely different. They had gone through summer slump and they were trying to figure out how to manage their payroll. See if there's some way that they can trim it back a little bit. And she wanted to see if there's a way she could lower her hygienist's hours for a couple of months. And so we were discussing. Well, they didn't have patients. And so she's like, I'm thinking about maybe, do I offer them like to have afternoons off or a couple, here and there? What do we do? I could keep them if I really needed to. But anyway, we're diving into this topic. And so one of the questions I asked her is, what happens if you lower their hours and somebody leaves? Do you have these team members that, would be upset by that to the point that they might leave, and can you afford to lose them? And she's like, well, my highest paid hygienist, she's good at what she does, but she's also not really somebody who participates in everything that we do here. And sometimes there's a bit of an attitude. And I said, tell me more. That's what I do. Let's go down the rabbit hole. What do you mean by that? And she said, well, she doesn't like to participate in our marketing activities. And we had done her handbook a couple of months prior, and we'd looked at job descriptions, and this is something that they know is required of them. And so I said, again, tell me more. Is there a situation that we need to know about that she's refusing to participate for a reason that's reasonable? And she's like, well, she really wants to be like the next Instagram hygiene influencer of some sort. And so she'll do videos for herself, but she doesn't want to participate in our videos. And the ones she does, she wants us to like tag the practice, and her vibe is not really what we do here. She's more of the like, here's how you get your patient to shut up, kind of edgy, and that's not what she wanted to really connect herself with. And again, I'm like, hold on, back up. What do you mean she does her own videos? What is she doing for her videos? She's like, well, last week she had a friend come in and she did a video of their treatment and posted it on her Instagram. And I'm like, so your employee on the clock had a person come in who I assume came in as an actual patient of the practice, and she recorded them and put it on her personal social. Did she have them sign anything? Because like you said, there's a model release they typically need to sign so that it's a HIPAA compliance issue. And even if that were the case, that would have been for the practice, not necessarily for the individual, assuming you've got your documents in order. So I'm going like, do we have anything here saying that this person says it's okay that she did this? And she's like, I don't know. Like, okay, we need to figure that part out, because that can be a pretty big issue. And it turns out, she was looking at the video again. She's like, well, it doesn't really show their face, but she really wanted to talk to this person, wanted to potentially, have that conversation. I said, this is maybe something that you may need to end up terminating over if she refuses to take it down, if she refuses to delete the video, and so on. So I connected her with a friend of mine who's an employment law attorney here in the state that she's in, and she worked with her, and at the end of the day they did end up terminating, because not only did she have this without any kind of media release and no permission and whatnot to use this person's image, but it wasn't just the person, it was her x-rays on the screen in the background. So major issue HIPAA wise, that she's sharing somebody's x-rays visible on her personal social media. And then there was a whole thing where she didn't want to take it down and had to get a cease and desist and all that in place. So it went down this rabbit hole from a place where we were completely talking about something entirely different. And it turns out you've got somebody who's misusing, the patient's video, misusing the patient's images on their personal social media for their own gain, for their own, intent of becoming the next Instagram influencer, and is not participating in practice stuff because of this. So multiple issues there, so many facets.
Well, so there's a whole other side to that. And it is, you had a valued employee. And if you would have had the structure in place, that scenario would have never happened. Right? Because let's say you're okay with her shooting her media in the practice with her friend. If these releases existed and they were signed and I was covered, maybe I don't care. Maybe we could have had a conversation, because those documents would have created a non-confrontational environment where we could say, hey, listen, you can do this. Just don't be wearing your scrubs with our logo, and just have it be a sterile, visually sterile operatory. So you really can't identify where this is. And it sounds like the hygienist was like a hygiene version of me, where she was really edgy, and not everyone am I the flavor for. So I can relate to why the doc wouldn't want to, because not everyone loves how edgy I am. So not everyone wants to be a sledgehammer, right? Some people want to be a scalpel. And so the documents would have prevented, one, the possibility and the risk of a lawsuit and the exposure. Two, it would have eliminated the loss of a very valued hygienist, which we both know right now, hygienists are gold, right? And that would have prevented this whole scenario just by having those two documents.
Well, and it sounded like there was some issues where, she was refusing to work with the team to do their marketing because of her intent of what she was doing with her own personal social media goals. So there's a limit to calling somebody a valued employee when they're not actually wanting to participate for those reasons. Like I said, there's some valid reasons, but this was not one of them.
But like you said, if she didn't want to and she signed the document, she could have been the cameraman. There's a difference between hey, we're 10 miles down the road and now I want to change something. Where when at moment of departure, if we go through both documents, she says, well, I have my own social media that I do about hygiene. Well, would you mind helping us then? Because you have experience, at least being behind the camera and helping us. Well, okay, sure, I can help. They would have created the two documents existing would have created a collaborative moment rather than a confrontational moment of, well, I already put effort in, you put effort in, whose effort's worth more.
For sure. And I mean, these documents have existed for a while. Realistically, you need them whenever you have just pictures on your website. All the team pictures that you invested in scrubs with the embroidered logos and everybody dressed up, and you spent a whole day going and bringing in a nice photographer to shoot all of the practice and your team, and then somebody leaves, and then they come back with a, hey, I don't want my image on your website. Can you take it down? Well, I guess you could Photoshop them out of that group shot, but it's probably going to look a little interesting unless they were right there on the edge or something. So this has always been something that you really want to have even prior to social media if you're using images and video from your team on any kind of marketing.
One question is, as you go down this rabbit hole, should you be downloading cookie cutter pre-canned forms, or should we be going to a lawyer and having them properly drafted?
I would have something properly drafted because the laws in your state may be a little bit different. You can start with a template and have them review it and give you feedback on it. But at the end of the day, it's always something, if you ever want it to go and hold up in court, like if anybody ever came and sued you for using their image in a way that they disagreed with, and you don't have something that really stands up, then you end up taking it down or losing that money or spending time arguing it or whatever the case may be. And so there's something called unjust enrichment, where you use somebody's IP and image and things like that for your own gain. And so there's and I'm not an attorney and I don't give legal advice, and so I'm not even going to go down that, but I'm like, there's a whole list of other things that you want to go talk with your attorney about. Go talk with the employment attorney to make sure that you are covered, and that would be one of those things. That, and just really honestly, if you're talking about documents, anything that it needs to hold up in court. I even, for example, if I do something like an employee handbook and it's an orthodontic practice, or it's a practice that does ortho, and they will provide this service to the team, if they have something that says, if you leave during treatment, you owe me the prorated amount of what that service would be. If you're in something that's 18, 24 months long, and they don't stay for that entire time, does the doctor still have to treat them? Do they have to pay for it? How does that work out? Do they owe them any money back? Like, that might be something you need to end up in small claims at the very least in some kind of court situation over. If you've got somebody who's refusing to complete the treatment and wants you to continue to do it for free, and you've got nothing really in writing. So even if that's a benefit we list in the handbook, I always say get a separate document and have your attorney draft that, because you want to make sure that it's something that will stand up in court.
I never thought about the fact that I imagine if you profit off of their image in a lawsuit, they might end up having rights to that money.
I mean, it would be pretty much of a stretch. Honestly, it would. Again, talk to your attorney, but there is things that people can bring, because here's the thing, people can try to sue you over anything. And it's maybe frivolous, it may be something that you're not going to lose the case necessarily because of XYZ, but you end up having to spend the time and the money to argue it. So it's just so much easier and cleaner just to have this up front and be like, look, you signed this document that gave me permission to do this, and so I'm sorry, we're not taking this down unless you, again, have some really valid reason, like someone is stalking you or harassing you over it.
It's just something they don't think about. I'm a marketer and I didn't think about it, which astonishes me. Because when we first said it, we had our conversation about this, I said, oh yeah, model releases for patients. He said, no. I said, in my head, I was like a deer in headlights. I was like, well, what do you mean? You're like, employees. And I was like, ooh, I never thought about that. And I'm a marketer. And this is a conversation I'm having with clients now.
Some people may. It's a standard document in some onboarding packets. I've seen them, where practices actually had them in place before I talked to them. I understand it can be things that can be missed, but it's always something that's worth going back and checking. And if you've got a team that didn't sign one upon hire or didn't sign one before you used their image, I would, again, go back and get that documentation and be very specific about what that use is. And even in that specific circumstance, I would be specific, saying that they can use images that have been previously taken, image or video that they've been previously recorded. So that can be something going forward, because otherwise you're saying, well, you signed it on this date, going forward, but does that cover the stuff that we've already done? And if you can't answer yes to that question, you want to be very careful about it. So I would, again, that's why you want to get an attorney involved. I am not that person.
I imagine, based on the contracts we do, that you have to list all the platforms. You have to list that you're keeping this forever and it belongs to the practice. You probably have to list also that they don't get the right to approve this.
That's up to you. If you want to give them approval rights, have fun with that.
Oh, bro, I would say you don't give approval. Listen, if you're filming 6 women singing and dancing down a hallway, there's no approval, bro, because no one's ever going to agree on the one they look good in. Okay, listen, I do family photos of my wife, and if I think I don't look in it good in it, doesn't matter. So it's like we're actually, so funny story. We're actually doing family photos today, and I've had to put on 6 different shirts and pants every night this week, and none of them she's liked, and the one I liked was definitely not an option. So yeah, I think approval power is probably a horrible idea just from the point of view of logistics and personalities, right? And it's a 30-second video on TikTok, or it's an image, and really, like we both know, unless you're a super social media doc, which is social media to a niche of other dental professionals. Other than that scenario, you probably don't have a ton of followers or eyes, right? You're probably using this more to bump the algorithm, to have more activity, to be more prevalent. Now, there's a caveat to that. I have a doc, old friend of mine, Raul Molina. He has a pet monkey, and he's got millions of followers because he's the dentist with a pet monkey. And I tell him all the time, I wonder if the monkey needed a release. I'm just kidding. I tell him all the time that you don't have a TikTok and a YouTube channel. Your monkey does. Because without a monkey, no one will be looking at you, right? But yeah, this is a giant point of exposure that I have never thought about. Now, in your knowledge, and maybe you've never been involved in one of these cases, but they have to exist. Has there ever been a financial, like a negative financial event or financial, has Doc ever been financially hurt by this that you know of?
I have not personally heard of that. It's more of they lose the money that they spent on the photography, on having the team come out and spend a day, loss of production, and having to pay the team to do it. It's more of that would likely happen if you don't have these things in place and you are told to take it down, because then you've lost all of that time. Not all, I assume you're doing like headshots and things of that nature, but if that was the team picture and they're telling you to take it down or modify it somehow, then you could end up losing some of that time. I don't know that anybody that's been like sued and has lost a significant amount of money over something like this. I will say that this is a point also where it shifts from compliance to culture. Like you said, if you're wanting to have the team that is not going to be upset by their image, maybe you don't give them approval, but here's an idea: give them a heads up. I've had a doctor that I've spoken with that, well, actually I'm speaking with associates, so this is how I know this. I spoke to the associate. The doctor would come in all glammed up that day and tell the team, hey, we're taking videos today. We're doing pictures today. And the team's like, dude, I rolled out of bed and threw my hair in a bun. Like, this is not, I'm on day 3 dirty hair and I didn't put my makeup on this morning. Like, give them the opportunity to look and feel good. People want to look and feel good on camera. Maybe you're not giving them actual last end approval rights, but give them some notice to where they can at least feel like moderately confident in front of the camera. And that's not a compliance thing. You don't have to do that. That's a culture thing. You don't want people to come back and be upset with the way that you've used their image online. Give them the opportunity to make them feel like they looked amazing that day.
Yeah, and there is 2 layers to this. You pointed out earlier. There's another layer I didn't think about as a marketer, which I'm embarrassed by, is I was thinking in my head just cell phone in the practice. But you just brought up bringing in a media group, like you bring in someone like, I think we both know Anissa Boussard that runs Digital Floss. For all the listeners here, they are not a sponsor of the show. I just happen to know her work, and I would tell you that they are the very best digital production company in dental, in my opinion, as a marketer.
Oh, they have an amazing team.
Yeah, their team, like Chris and those guys are it, bro. Like I see them all the time. I see their work. We've actually referred a ton of clients to them. We believe in them. But you're going to spend time on Anissa's team from Digital Floss to come out, and Chris and them are going to fly out. It's going to be expensive. You're going to spend all this money on this. And then that one, because right now, if we say, hey, Doc, at this exact moment, is there one staff member who's a flight risk, who isn't really a fit for the culture, who has a bad attitude? Yeah, there is one. And that person exists when you bring out Digital Floss and you spend all this money to have Anissa send out Chris and those guys, and you didn't do this as part of their onboarding process, right? Now the person, when they leave, all that money you spent, and she's probably in multiple photos with multiple people where you can't just get rid of her, right? Now all that media that you spent has to get taken down, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could clip a video and throw in some B-roll, but then you have to go back and pay somebody to do that editing, and you lose whatever traction you got in the algorithm if it's already on social, right? Because you're pulling that video and having to repost it.
Yeah, and that is tough, man. So I want to wrap it up here. Kara Kelley is, in my opinion, guys, probably the number one source for HR compliance. Now, she works on a team of, they all refer to themselves lovingly as geeks. And there is a HIPAA person, there's a cybersecurity person. It's a really good team that works together and collaborates.
Oh, we're collaborative partners. I'm clinical HR and I'm an independent HR business partner is what I call it. But like I partner with other compliance experts that are exactly like me, but in their own niche.
Yeah. It's like me with Anissa. Like Anissa does do she's the one I trust for video editing, and I don't give anyone else to her because it's a trust thing. There's no financial arrangement. It's that I trust you. And Kara has a team she can open the door to of trusted people. Like I have Justin Withrow, the lawyer, is my trusted person for that.
Mine too. I love Justin. For litigation, he does not like doing contracts, to my knowledge.
No, he just does litigation.
Yes. So Rob Montgomery is my contract attorney, I will refer to. And
Rob
Justin
Montgomery is my contract attorney, too.
There you go. See, we know the right people.
Yeah, I don't get to refer to Rob much, but lots of people that work with Rob from Ideal Practices end up with me. So I've seen Rob's work, and Rob, they are the two best lawyers in the entire industry for dental. Contract, real estate, Rob Montgomery. If you're getting investigated or you're in the middle of an audit, there's nobody better than Justin Withrow. So moving on from that, guys, if you want to explore compliance for HR and you want to possibly get Kara to open the door for other compliance scenarios, between her and then her trusted partners, she has you covered. And one thing I will tell you is I know of the other larger companies that do this, and Kara is approachable, affordable, and you work directly with her, and she will be a teammate. She is very boutique and high-end in that, and I would say it's a mistake not to at least contact Kara, because right now I guarantee all of you listening, if me and Kara could surprise visit your practice and she started looking into things, she would find places you're exposed. And I will tell you, whenever you have an industry expert like this, if you have an opportunity to just talk to her and have a conversation, Kara is not a hardcore salesperson. Kara is, I care about your practice and your exposure, and I want to make sure you're safe, because she understands like I do. You guys have student loans, practice loans, a lot of pressure, and your job honestly kind of sucks, Dennis. Everyone comes in and says, I don't like you and I'm scared of you, and being a dentist is not easy.
I hear that with HR. I like to say I'm
HR,
I'm
no
like
one likes HR either.
I know, right? I like to say that I'm like the fee for service, HR person for dentistry, because I am that higher relationship. I'm going to spend more time with you. You're going to feel like you're being individually supported, not with some canned in the box, PPO HR.
Guys, let's if you want to contact Kara, what's the best way to contact you, Kara?
Email Kara, Kara at clinicalhr.com. And I also always just give myself 512-876-4866.
Can you say it slower one more time? Because you speak way faster than my brain works. Go again.
I do. 512-876-4866.
Awesome. Hey guys, if you want to contact Kara, I recommend just having a conversation with her. I want to be clear. Kara did not pay to get on the show. She is not a sponsor of the show. We don't allow sponsors. I have just spent a tremendous amount of time with Kara over the last 2 years at events, hearing her speak. And this is a subject we haven't approached yet. And we're going to do some other episodes together about compliance. And she is the one that I believe in. So guys, please contact Kara, at least have a conversation. It won't cost anything to have a conversation, just a simple one, and open the door, and you might be fine. And maybe she'll highlight a few things and say, hey, these 3 things they have a problem with would only cost this much. It's a one-time fee. I believe it's not monthly. I don't know. And then Kara can take care of you and get you fixed up, man. So, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today on Dental Unfiltered. There are no sponsors, like we always say. There is no pay to play to get on the show. We literally pick people based off of merit and reputation and our experiences. Please like, subscribe, share, follow. And number one, please leave us a review. We do read the reviews. We love the reviews. I know one of you recently called Dr. Sasha from Clinical Unfiltered, our other show on the channel, The Clinical Goat. I promise you we all read these things, and it makes us feel good. Please leave a review for us. Also, Dental Unfiltered, the book, The Guide to Being a Badass Practice Owner, is out. And we're going to start putting ways you guys, it's so cool. We're going to start putting ways you guys can go get it inside the descriptions, and we're going to go from there. So, hey guys, thank you for joining us. Everyone have an awesome day.